Real estate after hours.
Legit.
Yee-hoo. Jose, what are we trying to do with real estate after hours that we weren't doing before?
Any excuse to drink
Salud.
and talk real estate.
Yeah, so we both wanted to like make it a conversational thing. We don't want to be like these formal blah blah blahs out there. All we want to do is talk real estate like people actually do when they're not working.
Well, let's be real. You want to talk politics, and I'm like, bro,
Hey,
I'm not
politics.
trying to get fucking canceled by this side or your side. I'm not for it.
I run very little risk of getting canceled.
Zero
I
politics.
think, because I think my opinions are measured. I don't go one way or the other unless somebody's doing something stupid.
Weren't you crying yesterday?
Like
When we
literal,
were talking
literal
here?
tears.
You were damn near yelling like a lunatic.
I was making great points.
All right,
Great,
let's get
great
into
points.
it. So today we're gonna cover a few topics. What are we gonna cover?
So we're going to talk about the elephant in the room. We just started doing it. The Trump housing plan, the Trump and his policies towards housing. We're going to talk a little bit about how his presence now affects or doesn't affect interest rates, and then we'll see about covering a couple of other topics right after that.
All right, good. So you said elephant in the room. I want to address Mr. President as Mr. President Trump.
Okay,
So it's President Trump.
President Trump.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing for our business? You're in mortgage business. I'm in real estate. Is having his new administration a good thing for our industries?
Way too soon to tell, which is what I've been telling people all day long. So, and you can tell not just because I'm saying it. It's not just me saying it. The policies that have been thrown out so far, you have the idea of creating more housing by building on federal land, reducing regulation, making it easier for builders to build by reducing that regulation. Trump says that it's up to 25% of the cost of the home is just based around unnecessary regulation. So those are two things that he's going to try and put into action here that are he's gonna try and help the housing market.
Now, all the hot sheets, all the memes, all the all the news reports are coming out. Trump is demanding interest rates get lowered and lowered now, and more housing to be affordable. How does that happen? Is it possible? And when can we expect? He said 3% rate. When can we expect that?
Yeah, so he said maybe we could take rates down as low as 3%, maybe lower, he said. I would tell you that the way that things are structured right now, that's not a convincing thing to hear, to be honest. Just because the way that he's going to influence rates, you have two main influences on rates. Number one is investors, and investors don't care. They're going to be putting money towards bonds or not putting money towards bonds, depending on what's best for their pocketbook. So in that sense, if Trump creates a scenario where investing in bonds is a good thing for investors' pocketbooks, they're going to go throw money at it. We may see rates lower that way. The other way, which is the way that a lot of people kind of assume he's going to do it, is he's going to put some level of pressure on the Federal Reserve Board, Chair Powell especially, and he's going to try and tell him directly lower rates. The Fed is set up,
By the way,
independently. Go
I
ahead.
started drinking already.
Oh yeah, me too.
So you have to dumb it down. You have to dumb it down.
Okay,
You said a whole lot,
I did.
but we have to reduce that shit down to.
So bottom line, if
Bottom
Trump can convince investors it's a good time to spend a lot of money on bonds, which we're not going to go into what bonds are if you don't know, but on bonds, then you will see interest rates come down. If Trump can effectively put pressure on the Federal Reserve to vote to bring down interest rates, which is less powerful than the investor effect, but still very powerful, then you might see interest rates come down. Neither are guaranteed, and definitely Chair Powell is not going to do anything just because Trump says so. He's already pretty much said that, and he's not leaving his job for a full year and some change.
So what I'm hearing is you don't see it happening anytime soon.
I don't see it happening just because Mr. President is saying so. That's not the way things work.
I love that. All right, so let's talk. Something that's exciting in the news is that they're going to be building new construction on federal land.
Yes.
Right? Potentially new homes, new housing,
Correct.
affordable housing, built by the private sector. Private companies are going to bid to buy these areas or parcels of lots in federal land. Now, okay, what does that mean? Where is the federal land that we're talking about? Is it next to big cities, or is it in the boonies?
Yeah, I mean,
in the mountains.
Think about this from a common sense perspective. Where is federal land? Think about the times in your life where you've seen federal land. That's going to be national parks, places where people can go and have kind of recreational type of activities, not typically located in urban centers, not typically located in centers where people are going to want to buy homes in the numbers that will make an effect on the market. My opinion.
I'm just gonna put it out there. They start building in Yosemite National Park. I'm buying 2 lots.
In Yosemite, yes, for sure. For those leisure buyers, the investors that want to buy it into a vacation type of property, sure, sounds like a great idea. Not a huge portion of the
By
market.
the way, I was reading a little bit about it, and in some of the areas there is federal land located next to big, cities and transportation. So it does exist throughout the U.S. But
in large numbers.
yeah, no, and by the way, it's 650,000 acres that they own. In comparison,
The federal land total 650.
Total, 650.
No, it's got to be millions of acres.
no, bro. You know who owns millions of acres? Ted Turner,
Oh, I believe it.
the owner of the Rams. I think his last name is Kroenke.
Yeah.
He owns like 2 million acres.
I think you're gonna have to check that. I think
I
the
read it-
U.S.
I read it-
government
I read it
owns
today.
millions and millions of acres of land. I believe.
All
Is
right.
it centrally located? I don't think so. It doesn't make sense that it would be centrally located. But whatever they can build on that will help, I'll take it. I'll take every
By-
last bit of it.
By the way, Mr. Hector, next week, I need you to have a laptop so you can verify my facts. I know that I'm right. This guy.
Oh, we're gonna fact check live. We're gonna fact check live.
What are we doing here? We have whiskey and we want facts.
I don't think you can tolerate a live fact check.
No, you would geek out with your little Google chat
okay.
search.
You would
fucking
turn
bar.
into name the person who was being fact checked live all his career and didn't like it.
All right, something I'm excited though. Okay, so 2024 was a tough year.
Mm.
For the most part, we had interest rates at 6%, 6.5%, right?
8. We got to 8
You're
at
right.
one point. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. I'm thinking about like best case, right? 7.5 rates. Okay. Still with that, in real estate, we had a increase. Homeowners
Yes.
equity grew year over year about 5.2%. I think that's what I read.
That is
right
correct.
around
Yeah,
there.
That's correct.
And they're
Nationwide.
expecting a repeat of that in 2025. Now, you deal with the same type of clients that I deal with, blue collar, first time home buyers, people that barely by the skin of their teeth can qualify for a home, right?
That's right.
That's my traditional buyer client. So with that said, is prices, home values going up another 5.5% in 2025 a good thing or a bad thing for what's happening with the economy right now?
Wow, good thing or a bad thing? It's always good for somebody and bad for somebody else. So if my home, I'm a homeowner, Jose's a homeowner. For those of us that own homes already, it's obviously a good thing. If I go up another 5%, I'm doing really well. An average, no year has been average in recent memory, but an average and healthy increase of value is usually about 4 to 5% annual. So if I get 5 more percent this year, fantastic. That's obviously not good for the home buyer who's on the other side of home ownership. And what I keep telling my clients is, yesterday was the best day to buy. Today's better than tomorrow in all likelihood because of the way that values move.
I think the quote is, when is the best time to buy real estate? 5 years ago. When is the second best time? Today.
Today.
Yeah.
Because
so-
tomorrow's going to be worse.
Yeah, bro, potentially.
Yeah.
Now, I do believe here in California, we're located in Southern California. This year started off like, a kick in the belly. I want to say kick in the somewhere else, but it started off rough with the
The fires.
not just that, well, especially the fires. That's where I was going.
Yeah.
But rates were very rocky walking into the first week, second week of January.
For sure.
Right. Then the windstorms that affected I was reading over 6,700 structures in Altadena alone, another 6,067, I think, in Palisades. Like, those are homeowners that are
And thousands of acres. And now we have a brand new fire up in Castaic Lake.
right.
That's already, at the last time I checked it was already at 6,000 acres in one day. Crazy.
So with that said, I was reading yesterday at LA Times. I wish I would have brought the report. Hector, you need your laptop with you, sir. Yesterday, LA Times, the first lawsuit, not lawsuit, the district attorney filed the first lawsuit
On a landlord.
on a landlord,
I saw
which
that.
happened to be a real estate agent
Yes.
in like San Marino, or no, not San Marino. What is it called? But north of Pasadena.
Yeah. So what I read of that was that Altadena, the landlord / realtor had a couple that was applying to rent a home.
Yep.
And then when he came to them with a second price right before they were going to move in, it was something like 38% higher
Yes, that was the
than
number.
what he originally quoted.
Yeah.
They
Now-
did not wind up renting that unit.
Correct.
But they did wind up coming after him legally.
Now, again, there's two sides to every story.
Sure.
What's the old saying? You're innocent until proven guilty.
Sure. For
In
sure.
the same article, it stated like he's hosted firefighters that are out there still fighting at his own home and providing food at his home. Like so, again, one article.
I think it made news because it's the first instance
Correct.
of
Correct.
a prosecutor actually coming after a landlord.
Correct.
Right. So this is, in other words, it's a signal saying this is real. We are not going to tolerate you
By-
jacking up
By
rents
the
just
way,
because.
like fun fact, like on the second day of the fires in Altadena, I mean, I'm shocked by what I saw on the news.
Did you really just say fun fact and then start talking about the fires?
Well, you
How-
don't
it's
you
really
don't know the story.
insensitive. It's insensitive.
No, it is. That it is. But you don't know the story that I was going to go with. I happened to look rental property. I looked up rental houses in the areas around Altadena, right? So I think I looked up like Monrovia, Duarte, Azusa. I looked up San Marino real estate. There was one house that stood out like a fucking like a sore thumb, where the prices, the available rental had gone up on value. I said, okay, that's normal. Sometimes,
Sure.
it goes up $100, $200. This particular house, from one day to the next, the day after the fires or 2 days after the fires, had gone up $2,000.
Oh, wow.
I think it went from like $9,950 available listing, 60, 70 days in the market, to like $1,250 2 days later. So obviously, there's a lot of unfortunate stuff happening out there in the market, and I feel very bad for the people that have lost their homes and how they're dealing with that.
Let's switch over to a slightly happier topic. What did you, Vanessa, and some of the realtors at Vismar do when the fires were happening? It warmed my heart, honestly, to watch you guys do what you did.
One of our guys, Jesse, shared, I think, another gentleman. His name's Eddie, and he worked for an outside office at the time. He now works with us. Eddie joined us, but this guy Eddie lives in the community of Azusa, and he was posting, "Hey guys, I'm at this local restaurant. There's a
Havesies.
What is it called?
Havesies.
Havesies.
Shout out to Havesies.
Havesies. So he was there volunteering his time. They're cooking for shelters and the first responders, and I mean cooking day and night, like 2 shifts from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 2 different shifts. And then there's a church next to it, which I didn't know until I showed up. When I saw that, I immediately put a post together on our company workplace, and in less than 24 hours, I was able to raise about $2,400. Right, I started off with by donating $750. One of my guys matched me $750, and then the rest, was various agents and people and staff, trickling the donations. And me and my wife took our oldest son, and we went to Costco, and we loaded the truck full of dry goods, everything that was on the list that they needed, from wipes and diapers, from pet food, you name it. It was right, and we were still left over like $300-400, and with that, we donated it to another cause. So yeah, I mean, we got together. It was probably not just the money, the $2,400. We had like 6 agents that the day that I got there volunteering their time. We made like 400 sandwiches.
I remember you guys were headed over there to deliver, and Vanessa said, we may not come back because the owners are telling us that they might need us.
Yeah.
So, and then you guys wound up not coming back at all.
No.
Next thing I know, I'm seeing pictures of you guys up on Instagram.
And by the way, I didn't take any of those photos. One of our guys did. Yeah. But
go ahead.
It was a great. I felt really good as a human being, being able to at least connect with all the volunteers there, and dude, it was like a machine. I was loading bags with the toiletries bags and shampoos, and I realized there was not enough shampoos, right?
Right.
So me and my wife ordered 2 huge boxes of individual shampoos and conditioners. I think over 1,000 of them, and we dropped those off.
This is the good stuff. This is the good side. I think when I watch the news, I'm like, oh, this person's trying to scam this person. This landlord story that's taking up some time on the news. But we stopped focusing on the idea of how many thousands of people came out in support of everybody affected by the fires. It didn't matter to them that they were wealthy people out of the Palisades or not so wealthy people out of the Eaton fire. None of that stuff mattered. People just started coming in droves. What can I do? What can I do? Havesies is a great example. They're in Azusa. I mean, Azusa is a good 25 minutes away from Eaton.
Yep.
But still, they took it upon themselves to lead the charge from Azusa and start delivering goods over to victims of the Eden fire.
I mean, at the end of the day, listen. Yes, it's fires. I mean, but a catastrophe could happen to anybody at any given time.
For sure, man.
Right? You don't know the helping hands that are out there. I mean, our government, does a great job supporting, wars and countries and those in need. Like I said, it's a good thing sometimes. But here locally, I mean, there's people that they ran out of their home with, the sweats and the shirt on their back, and that is it. And maybe hopefully their pet. Right, so they're gonna need a lot of help for a long time.
For a long,
so it's not like it's a one and done. We're gonna do a big volunteer commitment, and continue to assist where we can.
Along those lines, now moving on to a different but related topic, insurance is gonna be a big thing in California moving forward. It already was a big thing in California, but now it's gonna become an even bigger thing because now insurance companies are gonna see these losses. They're gonna have to pay out billions of dollars of losses. Everybody that's insured in California is going to feel the effects.
By the way, that's one of the things that I'm not too excited about. What was the company? The California, what's it called? Fair Plan.
California Fair Plan. Yeah.
I on one of my homes, I have a California Fair Plan.
Mm-hmm.
Right. My policy on this, and it's a cabin. My yearly premium is $5,600. Right, limited coverage. Right, only covers fire structure and really nothing else.
Yeah,
right? Which I guess I mean that's important. If it's in the mountains.
It seems more important now.
Yeah. Oh, 1,000%. But that premium is like 5x compared to my current home,
right,
or any other property that I have. It's so expensive, and with the catastrophe that's happened, and with all these fires and structures locally, I can only imagine what's going to happen with those premiums moving forward.
So a bad example is like Florida, some parts of Texas, these parts that are easily or more easily affected by natural disaster. Those places, in some cases, you have the insurance costs comparable to the mortgage costs in some places.
It's crazy.
I don't know that that's going to happen here. I really don't know what's going to happen because I'm not in the insurance game.
Yeah.
But oh my God, it is the effects of it are going to trickle down to all of us.
Yeah. So something that we're doing internally at our office. So now every Wednesday we have a contract class, and every Wednesday we're preaching, contingencies, the liabilities that we have, and to protect our client. But now the new contingency, I think the most important one is going to be the insurance contingency.
For sure.
You have the loan contingency, appraisal, inspection. But the insurance contingency, I'm going to leave it open, 15, 17 days in most cases.
And by the way, on the lending side, the last few loans that I have funded, all of them have required a last minute inspection that tells the eventual buyer of the loan that the property is not in a danger area, that it's not affected by the fires. Yeah. It's a cheap little report, but it'll hold up your escrow if you don't get it done in time. And it's necessary now while this stuff is going on. How long it'll be necessary, I don't know. But when that goes away, we're still going to be dealing with insurance. It's going to be a thing. For a while.
All right, Ernesto. So we're calling this new segment our new... It's funny. I think of Dad's House, right? I think of Dad's House, our old little thing that we had going on. Dad's House.
Let's not call this Dad's House 2.0.
No, not at all. What I was thinking about was Bernie Mac. Have you guys seen that meme? You're going to have to upload it on this. Have you guys seen that meme of Bernie Mac where somebody, I don't know what movie it is, and they asked Bernie Mac, what about them kids? You remember what Bernie Mac said?
Yes.
Fuck them kids. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Anyways, that's what I thought about our old little...
Yes, Dad's House podcast when it died. Yeah, these are the types of thoughts Jose has, guys. So,
yeah, if it just varies. I go from, my daughter brought me this.
Speaking of kids.
Yep.
TikTok, staying or going? We'll leave that as our last topic. You think it's staying or you think it's going?
I think... Okay, first of all, it's a business. It's a big business for creators and content creators and the people that post there. And okay, I believe there's so much money in that business and in that company that the current owners, is it China?
No, it is China owned
by ByteDance,
but is Singapore run?
Okay,
if I have that correct.
The U.S. is making their demand. hey, we're gonna give you basically 60 days or 90 days to negotiate with us. We want ownership, control, some aspect of it.
Yes.
I feel that now that we have a new president and he's putting his demands on display publicly, that there may negotiate a deal. What percentage do I say? I'm going to say it's 60%
That it stays.
that it gets negotiated and done, and we get some portion of the company.
Fair. I think that's a fair guess.
Yeah.
It's going to be so. Number one, the CEO of TikTok was at the presidential inauguration, sitting in one of the front rows.
My percentages went up to 98%. I didn't know that.
I think that'll tell you a lot about whether TikTok is staying or going.
Yep.
I think TikTok has managed to change the mind of the one person whose mind they needed to change, and that was the incoming president. He has the power, my understanding, of at least giving them a 90-day stay.
Okay.
In that 90-day stay, they're supposed to already have a buyer. So it's supposed to be the president saying, since you have a buyer, I give you 90 days to negotiate it out.
Okay.
That may or may not be happening behind the scenes. If it's not happening behind the scenes, then he's essentially not following the rules there, but it doesn't really matter. He's giving it to him. So I'm with you. I don't know about 98%, but something close to 80% is what I think TikTok is going to stay around at this point.
So, okay, let's say it was Biden negotiating. Or
Biden didn't want it. Biden didn't want it. And by the way, Trump didn't want it until he realized he can get some views on it.
Okay. All right. So real estate after hours. What does Ernesto Garcia normally do when he goes home after hours?
Ooh,
what's a hobby? What's something that you enjoy to do after hours? And then I'll share what I do like religiously every day. You might trip out what I do. No, it's not smoking cigars, which we're going to light up after this.
Yeah. I'll be dead honest with you. Sometimes I leave my office at 7, 8 p.m. It's not like I'm going to go for a long run at that hour. If I get a workout in, it's going to be in the early part of the day. When I get home, I'm mostly focused on doing a couple of things for my wife so that she knows that I'm thinking about her, and then sitting down and sharing some time with her. That's the basics of my weekdays. Weekends, we just did Disneyland. We just did, trips back and forth to family. All that
So
stuff can happen.
not only are you boring at the office, you're boring at home, it sounds like.
I'm happy with it. I'm super happy with it.
I'm just kidding. For me, after dark, the minute I go home and, once I settled in, see what the wife's doing, the schedule, whatever, when I'm able to get to it, I love watching criminal shows. Whether it's like crime and law, YouTube.
Boring.
No, bro.
Boring.
I just...
I'm boring?
Yeah. Religiously. I think I've watched every serial killer, CNN. I mean, you name it. Everything on YouTube that's like criminal related or a case, how this guy got caught.
I know Jose. I know he likes criminal shows. I honestly thought, because he put me on the spot, I honestly thought he was going to come back with, I juggle swords or I hunt down international assassins. I thought you were going to say something. Well, you watch criminal shows.
I love. I feel that if I needed to get away with a murder, I mean, I'm putting this on video here, right? But I feel like if I needed to get it, I could probably get away with it.
Who is the killer of the insurance guy? What's his name?
What insurance guy?
Luigi Mangione.
Oh, yeah, he
So
became
you could do what Luigi Mangione couldn't pull
No,
off.
I could tell you where he went wrong. I could tell you
Where
exactly
did Luigi Mangione go wrong?
Bro, did you see stupid women think it was a beautiful smile, good looking smile? I don't see it. I don't know how cute he is or where all these good looks are coming. It's
Sure.
just he's Italian. Women love Italian men.
Okay,
bro.
but where did he go wrong?
He should have wore a mask.
He did wear a mask.
No, that's the whole nose and smile is what cut his ass.
He pulled his mask down because the girl at the hostel where he was staying at was flirting with him. And she said, "Let me see your face." So he's like, "Yeah." He pulled the mask down.
Full disclosure, I have not got, and I don't intend to get to the Luigi story. I'm not interested in that one. I'm not interested too much. I know that he was on a bike and he took
I'm
like the road.
interested, not in him necessarily,
Yeah.
but I'm interested in what he wrote on the bullets and how seriously America's taking that message, how much of that message is being heard by the insurance industry
heard he had
and our government.
I heard he had back problems and he some
Massive back problems.
Yeah, back problems. And he got some shit. His insurance claims denied, and so he had an incentive, right? Or he had a reason to go after him.
Yeah,
or whatnot.
but you saw what he wrote on the bullets.
I did not.
Essentially, it's a in business motto that the insurance company supposedly follows that says deny the claim, then I forgot. It's three different words, but it's deny the claim, then keep them locked up in litigation, and wait for them to fall out. It's a 3-word thing. I wish I could remember the exact 3 words, but in any case, he etched those words on the bullets, essentially telling the insurance companies, "You all do this to people. You know, this is why I'm doing this. This is why I'm committing this killing."
It sounds like Ernesto's enjoying my after-hour activities with Liz Luigi's story. And
Except for Luigi Mangioni's story actually has wide-ranging effects on, I think, what everybody can agree is a real crappy industry. So you know,
I actually agree with what you're saying about the insurance, healthcare industry.
But whether they'll hear that message or not this time around, that's kind of what I'm interested in seeing.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm interested. We're gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys for
smoke a cigar finally.
Yeah. I'm gonna light up here, but I don't want to light up on camera.
Right.
I'm excited to do this again. Let's do this next week. Let's do this later this week. And Hector's gonna bring what? What are you bringing, Hector? That's it.
Oh, because you can live fact checking. I want to see the scroll at the bottom of the screen. Jose lied. No, Jose. Hey, you did not sell 500 houses last year.
When you're right, you're right. And sometimes you just have to show up.
I would love to get you as fact check live. That would be awesome.
We'll do it. So with that said, guys, thank you. Real Estate After Hours. Cheers and
cheers, everybody.
See you next week.
We'll see you next week. Salud.
My insurance is going to cancel me. Oh, you smoke.